Bomas of Kenya, the National Turning Center. So let's have a conversation in studio. A lot has happened. This is it. The day is finally here as we look out for those numbers coming out from the Bomas of Kenya. So in studio, I have Lona Irongo. She's a communication strategist. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very
right
much.
Next to her, we have Kamodho Waiganja, who's a constitutional lawyer.
Asante.
And we also have Felix Owor, who's an electoral law expert. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Lona, let me begin with you. Give me your assessment of how the day has been. I mean, August 8th, everyone was waiting for this particular day. What's your assessment of how the whole process played out?
So I can only speak from where I was seated and stuff that happened. It was a pretty solid day. There was a lot of camaraderie at the stations and people just consistently asking, have you voted? I was keeping tabs on stuff happening on Twitter, online, and just getting in different reports. A lot of awareness and reporting and people calling in and just really sharing challenges that they were facing or things that were happening. So in my sense, you know what, there's a message that went out earlier, and I think, I know I'm going to get this wrong, but I think her name is Shalija or Shalja Patel, who said we're always told to vote peacefully.
Yeah.
We vote peacefully. It's what happens after. But we have never not
the
voted.
Voting process
the
is
voting
okay.
process
the
is technically peaceful. And so I was just solid, impressed. It was impressive. I liked the idea of the petition within the station. You could go with different names. Also, now we know how many people's names start with C, D, E. So if you're in a very long line, your parents had a general name. You just kind of picked those. So I think, for me, it was a solid day. Apart from, of course, some of the challenges that we've heard about weather constraints in some places where that came out. Yeah. So overall, yes, I think as we go into the show, we'll talk about the different little things that came out.
Okay, Waiganja?
Because I was doing some observation work for the Law Society, I was able to visit probably about 20, 30 polling stations through the day. I think several things. One is to say IBC must be congratulated. I think on the whole, their staff did exceptionally well, at least in the places where it's visited. They were technically alert. They were aware of what they were doing. When things went wrong, they had solutions. So that was great. Number two, technology generally worked, which I think was a good thing because it will reduce some of the ballot stuffing and other machinations that have gone on in the past. So that, again, was a good thing. I think, for me, some of the negative, the sad things were, and then to Kenyans. Kenyans came out, maybe lower than expected tally, but we'll find out before the end of the time.
Was it, 5? Ezra Chiloba said we are at 60%.
Yeah, so that concerned me. Or maybe that is the real turnout, because technology, made it impossible for fake voters. So that helped. I think the sad, unfortunate thing for me was that there was quite a bit of confusion in many polling stations. The boxes and the votes are pretty confusing. Those colors, they need to rethink what to do.
Yeah, Lona was saying she couldn't even pick out the colors.
You can't pick, if Lona can't pick out pink.
Well, you guys. It's not
but
like
anyway,
that.
But anyway,
I just said some of those colors were faint. Like the member of county assembly one looked weird.
Even the women report. And then they need to rethink the names. I think there's a certain way that people understand seats. So when you write member of the county assembly, people get lost. If you write MCA. Women rep, when you write woman member of the National Assembly, people get lost. So we need to rethink about that. Not that people make mistakes, but it just takes longer. And then number two, a lot of the spoiled votes that we're going to hear about tonight are actually votes that were placed in the wrong boxes. Those are things that we need to improve. Security forces, I think in the places that I went, were excellent. Managing crowds, being, generally joyful. So there were many things that went right. Agents need training. Most agents don't understand that they are not observers. So they were just sitting at the corner looking. They were not even sure what they are observing. So that concerned me. So there's a lot of civic education that needs to happen, voter education that needs to happen, particularly on agents, because they're the ones that guide. So there are quite a number of things that need to be improved. But on the whole, I think it was a great day. Yeah.
Felix, before I get to your thoughts, let me bring in my colleague Trix Ingado's in Kakamega. Trix, can you hear me?
I'm coming to you from the Kakamega County Tallying Center, whereby, well, there's not much activity.